Greenwood is not the best to burn because it's full of sap. G'day, my name's Tim Bengoff, and today I'm talking to Tim Greenwood. G'day, Tim. How are you?
G'day. Good, yourself?
Yeah, good. Did you know this about Greenwood? It's it's fresh wood cut. Usually you can't burn it because it's full of sap. How many times do people say that because of your last name? Much or not?
You know what? You are the first.
Oh,
congratulations.
That's good. Thank you. It's always nice to be the first.
Absolutely.
You're the first in this series, as you've noticed from all the cluster.
We got there.
In the end. How's your you're on break from uni at the moment?
Yep,
how are you finding that?
Pretty cruisy so far, although I'm moving into an apartment on Saturday. So
yeah, that's exciting. Is it close to where you currently live now, or big move, or
just up the road? So,
that's all right.
Yeah, about 5 minutes up the road.
Well, that's good. You know all the shops anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not too bad.
Not too hectic.
Yeah, it's picked up a big fridge today from.
That's always important. I find the biggest fridges are the best fridges, usually.
It is pretty big.
Not in terms of energy rating, almost. I don't know. Do you know the energy rating on your fridge?
I'd like to say I do, but I don't.
You don't? Okay, that's fine.
Right.
You'll get points deducted off that. In future, note that I will be asking all guests the energy rating of their fridge.
Yeah, write it down, everyone.
When you come on again, if you come on again,
I'm going to have the energy rating for you.
You should.
I'll get on it.
So, Tim Greenwood, you're a designer, you're a student,
I am.
You're an illustrator, I would say, as well. You're a brewer. You make beer. Are you still doing that in COVID?
Yes. Next week I'll be brewing a fresh batch of brewskis.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
Do you have a specific beer type that you brew, like light beer, dark beer?
Yeah, pale ales.
Right.
Fairly strong pale ales. So between pale ale and IPA. So IPA is Indian pale ale. They're a bit stronger, a bit hoppier.
Yep.
But yeah.
Is there a reason? Is it
pale ale or IPA?
Easier to brew a pale ale, or is it just you just like doing it?
Just like pale ales over lagers, and I did a cider last time.
Oh, yeah.
It turned out pretty good. It was pear cider.
That's good.
That was alright.
Pairs well with things.
What's that?
Does pear cider pair well with things, or that was a bad pun?
That I like a pun, so I appreciate that.
I find most designers like puns, because I think puns are good metaphors for what design is, right? Because it's you're trying to problem solve without it's really subtle. Good design is in a box.
So I think what we're gonna have to do is just slip in as many puns as possible.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to try to.
Exactly.
I'm on edge currently because I'm trying to think of things to say. Because for some reason, being in front of recording devices is a lot different than being in front of a person. Crazy.
Go with the flow. Go with the
flow.
See what happens.
Yeah, bloody. I'll set up a little dinger. Every pun that's made, it'll go ding or
Sounds
something.
Good. Sounds good.
Bit of fun. Yeah. So why design? Do you think design has two questions? Why design?
Yep.
And do you think design is important in our world?
Yep. So why design? Well, I just like the artistic aspect of it. For me personally, just being creative, coming up with cool, concepts, and I don't know, it just allows me to express myself differently from whether I was doing a desk job, doing accounting or whatever. It's just not for me. So I'm more of a hands-on, creative type, and it just works well.
Yeah, fair enough.
And what was the second question?
Is design important, do you think?
Absolutely. I read this thing on Facebook saying that designers have the least important job in the world.
Yeah, I think I saw that. Was that the infographic thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, bloody a designer made that graphic.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine being that poor guy going, bloody...
Yeah. So, I mean, designers are able to display information to people in an easy way, so people can actually understand, important things, like, especially with this coronavirus. I mean, I don't want to say dumb down information, but, you know, we're able to present, you know, important information, statistics that people can actually understand without being, you know, overwhelmed or confused. I think it's actually very important.
To cut through all the information out there and get to the really specific shit.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. I mean, designers are everywhere doing everything. I don't think people understand that. Therefore, they don't appreciate designers.
Yeah, no, true. I think design is, like, everything in this world that we use has been designed in one way or another. Picture frames, doors, cups, you know, and we're inundated with all this stimulus that has been designed that we just go, a cup has been around forever, you know, that's always been a cup, that's always been a laptop, that's always, you know, but someone had to go, no, hang on, this is the perfect way to do this thing, and let's do this thing. And so,
the best way for people to view this or use it.
Exactly, yeah.
And I mean, you look at your phone interface, for example. I mean, without a designer, it'd be so hard to navigate. And, you know, designers, especially at Apple, you know, they've made things as easy and simple as possible for, you know, the user experience.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And there's a lot of learning involved, and there's a lot of creativity, not just in terms of... I think when people think of creativity, they think of like visual creativity and colours and, you know, how big things look on the page, or in the context of a phone, you know, how big they look on the screen. But there's creativity in the way you package something, in the way that you put things together, where you place things, so that you kind of create an experience that people don't really view as an experience in a way. You kind of slip by them. You know, you lead them along without them realising they're being led along.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I don't... Yeah. You drew the Joker the other day. I'm trying to get better at segues. So you're interested in portraiture as well, and I guess that comes from, like, the artsy side. Have you always been pretty artsy, pretty creative? Were you that way in high school as well?
Always been like that. My dad's actually an art teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Mum was a fashion designer back in South Africa.
Christ.
So my family, I was born in Johannesburg, South Africa. Moved here when I was 2 years old.
Yep. Do you find that that being... I don't know, does that play a big part in your design? I'm not saying that you're like...
I've grown up around, you know, my family being very artistic, you know, dad painting and all that, and just, it's very, very much so, yeah. So is that,
I know both my parents were accountants, now they're school teachers. There's a bit where you see your parents doing something and you're going, okay, yeah, I could do that, but there's also the thing of going, oh, you're doing that, I don't want any part of that. Were you like that with art and design and stuff?
I wasn't like that, because I think just I was born, and I'm the kind of person that likes to be creative.
Yeah.
You know, I was born like that, so I think it just helped me, just sort of develop into
define yourself, and, you know, you got to see people doing it, and you were just like, oh, cool, that's a thing I can do. Have you always needed glasses? I don't think I've ever seen you in glasses.
No, this is a new edition. Yeah.
They look very cool.
About it.
They make you look smart. Not that you didn't look smart before, but...
Oh, let's be honest, Tim. Let's be honest. He
didn't look smart before, that's a secret. He didn't look smart before.
Look,
but no.
I wouldn't say it's an improvement, but, you know...
Those glasses, a turtleneck, bloody Steve Jobs.
All over it.
Back from the dead.
They make me look like a prick designer, and that's what I'm going for.
No, but that's perfect, right? You walk into the meeting, and you go like, yeah, I'm a prick designer, and then you take them off, and then they're like, oh, who's this? Where'd the prick designer go? Who's this cool guy? It's perfect.
And then I show my work, and they love it, and then I'll put the glasses back on when we're talking pricing.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, the prick designer's back, okay. We gotta... We're gonna be careful.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
How do you go? You've worked a lot with clients and things, doing branding, logos, stuff like that. Not a lot, but you've worked a fair bit for a student still.
Getting into it now, I've had a few clients. I'm not actually allowed to talk about one of them just yet.
Hush, that's pretty cool.
But it's pretty good. Just did their logo. And
that's exciting. How do you
go? I'm doing their whole branding.
So, that's cool. Is it a lot of branding as well, like web and everything? Or
so I'm not actually developing their website, but I'm helping with the web developer.
But you're still part of the conversation. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so
pretty exciting.
Next week we'll start with their business cards.
Far out. That's cool.
Because now the corona's sort of hopefully easing off.
Yeah.
They'll need some business cards, and they're a cybersecurity company.
Oh wow.
So I'll
that's pretty cool. Bit of diversification as well in the portfolio too. I guess it's all the same thing.
Illustration, which is more fun, free flowing,
yep.
And then I also do
you do. The thing
design,
that's something that's really interesting not really interesting, but I think interesting to note your style kind of, and it's not really a style, but you do a lot of illustration that's kind of not choppy, but it's very classical. It's very realistic, but you've got elements of the paint and stuff coming through, and maybe that's your dad, being a painter. You've got stuff like that coming through, but then you've also got this really clean, defined design style that people can see in your logo. It's very classic forms. It's very geometric. It's really nice. Do you find do you find it hard to walk that line between fun illustration kind of stuff and clean graphics, or?
I feel like at the moment I'm at a stage where I haven't found my style yet.
Right.
I haven't found my specific style. I'm sort of just reaching out, trying a bit of everything, and hopefully I'll find my style soon.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's nice to have that diversity, be able to do different styles and, to suit your client.
Do you think it's important for a designer or a creative to have a style, to have a voice that they speak with?
100%. Because you need to differentiate yourself, and you wanna be your own, you want to be your own designer in a way. Like, you want to have your own identity. Because once you have your own identity, you're able to stand out. You're comfortable with what you do. Because at the moment I'm sort of doing stuff where I'm branching out and trying new things, and it's not comfortable.
Right.
It's fun, but it's not comfortable, and I'm not quite my own designer on the illustration side of things.
Yeah.
So once I find my style, I think it'll be a lot better. But I'm getting there. You've got an iPad Pro. Right?
No, I just have an iPad, but I have the iPad model that has the pencil features and stuff. So it's the cheap one, but with the good bits of really expensive, massive iPad Pro.
What I want to do is I want to invest in one of them, and I think that'll really, really help me out with my illustration.
Honestly, I found in my development as an illustrator in year 10, I got an iPad, and I was using this, not knockoff, but there was this company called Adonit, and they had a little disc on a stylus that because before that styluses were rubber tips or whatever, and they were gross and you couldn't get any control. But it was like a glass disc, and then it had a metal bit there, and you'd scratch the screen, and it was terrible for your screen. But you had precision on it, and you could do really good lines. And as soon as I got that tool, my art just went straight up, because I was I was referencing photographs and I was referencing real life, and there was that immediacy of going, you could draw a person's face, and then when you have the actual photograph underneath, because it's a digital program, you can draw the nose, and then you can turn the layer off, and then you can see the actual nose.
Check to see how you're going.
And then you can be oh, I've done this completely wrong. Whereas if you're drawing, you kind of get the idea that it's wrong, but you don't know exactly how it's wrong, and so you don't know how to fix it.
Trying to get the right perspective and position of all the features is actually so challenging. So
it's the thing about drawing a face, and you probably find this as well with all your portraits that you've done, it's deceptively simple, but it's not simple at all. All the bits slot into place. You've got that where you draw the head and then you've got the eye line. It's half between.
Yeah, you got that T section.
Yeah,
and
you do the nose is halfway through the face, and then the eyes are halfway between the head and then
with the ears.
Exactly,
ears
and then
the top of the ears and the eyes line up.
And then like the mouth is usually in the middle of the eyes, and you've got all these bits that you factor in, but then people's faces are wonky, and the way
everyone's different. So
exactly,
it's not going to be exact every time, and you don't want to draw the perfect face.
Exactly, because then it doesn't look like anyone. And if you draw like a face that looks like people, you have to like slant the eyes and you have to dodgy them up and.
Exactly. I mean, from just doing my portrait of Joaquin Phoenix's Arthur from Joker. I mean, he's got such an interesting, odd face.
Just a hook nose, that kind of folds and stuff.
Cleft lip or whatever it's called, and super interesting. So that was fun.
Do you how long did that take you in the end? Because you took a lot of breaks, of course, but
I couldn't finish that one in one go. I was just too busy. But I reckon overall, because I hadn't done that style before, it's quite realistic, and it takes a long time. I was sort of getting used to the technique of actually doing it. I found easier techniques now, but that took me 15 hours, 20 hours.
Yep. It's pretty long, but if you've not seen it, I'll put a link in the video so that people can see it if they want. I'll put an actual image up as well because it's good. It is a good image. It does look really cool. I showed my sister before and she was like, "Is that real?" And I was like, "Yes, that's a drawing." But I really like your cowboy illustrator. He's an MMA fighter, I think. Is he?
Yeah, he fights for the UFC.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't know that stuff, but it looks really cool because it's kind of like just the way the paint's kind of put on. It looks like pixely and kind of digital and just really nice. And especially how you've kind of cut it against that blue background. How you've put it on and you've intersected the typography. It looks really sweet.
That was an oil brush on Photoshop.
Right. Have you considered ever? Like, you might do it, and I just have no idea. But have you done any traditional paintings?
No, I haven't actually.
Have you ever considered doing traditional paintings?
I have actually. Yeah, I've done a couple, but I haven't really invested too much time into it. But my dad does quite a bit, so
is his
look at for sure.
So he's an art teacher. He's a painter. You were saying, is it like more realism stuff, or is it abstracted, or
realism?
Right. Fuck, that's
realism. So
pretty intense.
That's his thing.
I don't know. Do you have? You said you were from South America, Africa.
South Africa.
Bloody hell! I'm terrible with geography.
No.
Even though you just mentioned it. Anyway, South Africa. Do you have much family over there, or is it? Do you have a big family, or is it?
So I don't have a massive family, but it's fairly big, I guess. So don't really have too many people left in South Africa. We've all moved to Australia. 90% of my family's in Perth.
Oh yeah.
So I actually went back to Perth a couple months ago, just before COVID started.
How was that? Beautiful beaches in
Perth. 90th.
Oh wow! Congrats.
Yeah.
How's he? How are they going with everything?
Just trucking along. They're going okay. It's obviously COVID's nearly non-existent there at the moment.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh yeah, true. That's good.
No, they're going alright. Yeah.
That's good to hear. COVID's not been. I don't think it'll be news for anyone that COVID's not been great for everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you find it hard to? You're working on brands, you're working on, actual jobs, you're creating art and stuff like that for your Instagram, which is pretty good. Tim Greenwood Designs or Greenwood Designs, whatever it is.
Yep, Greenwood.designs.
Greenwood.designs. People can look that up. I'll put a link in as well. But, you're creating stuff. Do you find it difficult to stay motivated to do design and do illustrations and stuff in the current climate?
Recently I've been more motivated because of everything that's going on. I've been posting fairly frequently, except the last couple of weeks because of uni assignments. There's been quite a few. I'm sure you know.
I do.
Yeah, I've been posting pretty frequently. I'm pretty motivated. Been doing a lot. Oh, it's been good.
Do you find it not exhausting, but the scheduling of having to put up, say, Instagram posts, having that schedule, do you find that like not restrictive, but do you find a pressure to be like,
Yeah.
oh, I need to have
I mean,
every week I need to have 3 images
Yeah.
ready to go, kind of thing, or do you
For
do
sure.
it?
to do well with Instagram, you got to be consistent. Consistency is the key for everything, really. And to be consistent, it does add pressure to what you do. You know, there's a fine line because you don't want to be rushed with your work, and you don't want to put out work that isn't to a good standard because of the pressure of being consistent. I think that's the line that you gotta find. So it can be challenging, but you just got to be comfortable with what you do and make sure you're putting the right amount of effort into your work rather than just quality.
Yeah, exactly.
Quantity over quality.
Exactly, I guess it all comes down to how much you're willing to put in and what I guess you deem as the final product. How much do you take stock in likes and all that stuff? Do you just go with your gut, or do you go, oh, this thing, got more likes, so I'll do that thing, or?
So, I had been just going with my gut until recently after I started posting quite regularly. I noticed certain things got more likes than other things. So I sort of am working around that, sort of posting more for what people tended to like. But I don't think it's too serious. You also got to have fun with what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Or else you're gonna slow down and not be consistent because you're not having fun.
Well, true. You got to kind of consistency and scheduling and all that. It's not, as you say, it's not fun, right? And so to keep to it, you got to put a bit of spice in it. You got to put a bit of sugar, so you want to keep going at it, because otherwise, because it is a job, but otherwise it becomes more of a job than it should be.
Exactly. And I mean, I wanted to find a job that I actually enjoy.
Right.
Because you see so many people working, jobs that they hate. And they just don't want to get out of bed in the morning. And that's not what you want. So, you got to have fun with what you do.
Yeah, true. You can see that in your illustrations, and I think you can even see that in your branding as well, because it is kind of, there is a, not whimsy to it, but there's, a bit of life to it in a lot of, and that's the thing I find.
Add a bit of character to everything that I do.
Well, that's always good. How have you found not being able to travel, not being able to go places really with COVID on?
Normally I'd be pretty annoyed by it because I like to travel. I've travelled quite a bit in the last 4 years, but me and my girlfriend decided that we'd actually just stay in Australia this year, save up because we're moving out. So that actually hasn't affected us too much.
So it's actually been pretty, it's like,
really
according to plan.
Chill.
So.
Yeah, exactly. So it's actually helped us out. I know I've got friends who,
that's really nice.
Had to cancel flights. They were going to Greece, and it's just a mess.
Nice.
So it's been pretty good. Obviously, it'd be nice to go on a road trip somewhere, but
of course,
not the end of the world. Been able to focus on myself, focus on doing design work. So it's been pretty good.
That's always
good.
What
about yourself?
It's a bit claustrophobic as it is. I don't really drive, so I can't just pop down to the Oval and just walk around or whatever. It's funny. In life, there's just things that you put off because you're like, I'll do it next week, or I'll do it sometime or whatever. I'll get my license in a week, whatever. And then something like this happens, and then you're suddenly a turtle on its back, and you're going, shit, I can't, escape or whatever. And it's it really puts in perspective your limitations, and it puts in perspective what you can and can't do, and it's so it's not been bad for me, but it's been interesting, I think, and it's kind of helped me assess points for you, in the same way that you're, I imagine, assessing your design trajectory as you're thinking what jobs you want to do and etc. and what you want to take on to improve yourself. it's helped me kind of do the same with my career, and also with who I am as a person and what I want to do, and just etc. It's always nice to have kind of like a loading point, just a point where you can kind of calm down and reassess and move on.
That's right, yeah.
Which has been really helpful, I think. And I think a lot of people will hopefully will come out of this when it ends, because it will end eventually.
Absolutely, yeah.
And how many people will have used this time to just kind of reassess who they want to be and what they want to do. And it will be interesting to see how many artists are in the world after this, and how many, people are doing yoga, and how many people are, like the new, and how many people come out as, gay or bi, or, find different preferences.
Themselves and...
Exactly, yeah. Just, how many people's politics change, or... Because I think a lot of people are focused on the consequences of, like the economy is going to be shit, and, people aren't going to have jobs, and, relationship structures are going to be broken, and, people aren't going to school and stuff like that. But I think the biggest, not consequence, but the biggest thing to result from all this time with people thinking and stuff is just the different views and the radical kind of concepts that people want to create in society, kind of thing. And we're seeing that in politics now. There's a lot of unrest, and there's a lot of upheaval. Which it's scary, but it's pretty cool as well, because
at the same time, change is scary, but it's important.
Exactly. It's
a lot of people think that change is only bad, and because it is scary, but it's important to have change to move forward.
Exactly. It's like it's like design, right? It's because design is change. Design is change, but it's also keeping it the same a bit. But it's a bit of progress.
You have to find consistency with change. It's a bit tricky like that.
Tim Greenwood is a Melbourne-based designer. He can be found at greenwood.designs on Instagram, so chuck him a follow. The music in this episode was produced by Phoebe Bengoff. She is a singer-songwriter from Melbourne, Australia. Find her on Facebook at Phoebe Bengoff Music, and on Instagram as Phoebe_Bengoff. This week's episode of The Literal Lie was produced by me, Tim Bengoff. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. But there's literally no better place to stay up to date than our website, www.theliterallie.com. Stay kind. Have a good one.